Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Ignore the title. I got it wrong. Tonight is not Tuesday Trucker Talk. Tonight is actually, in case you missed it, and I hadn't been on the air for a couple of weeks, which is obvious by me getting the title wrong and obviously not even knowing what day of the week it is. So I'll correct that after the show. But for now, it's going to have to stay screwed up because I can't fix it once it starts. I got to fix it afterwards. But anyway, there's been a lot going on. We got a lot to talk about. There's some things in the news we need to cover. And then we're going to finish all that off with a big announcement and, of course, get into your comments as well. Before we do all of that, though, let me say hi to all the channel members. Let's start with the original channel member and work our way up to the most recent. Chronologically, that is. Ramon was the very first channel member, then Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, Skyhook Trucker, Midlife Trucker, Red Raider Reloading, Randy's Road Life, KC, Trucker named Tim, Smaller Hauler. Oh, man, I never can say his name right. Oaser DM or Oser, I'm not sure. Roger Berry, No Fear, and RGB. Thank you all for being here. I'm sure some of you will join later in the show. So let me kind of tell you what's been going on with me. For about the last 3 weeks, I've been super, super sick. Well, I say that. It comes and goes. Like today, for example, I've just got a little bit of a runny nose and a sore throat. But it's just been terrible. There was a few days there that I was really sick. I never personally went to the doctor. My wife got it about 3 days before I did, and she went to the doctor, and they diagnosed her as having flu type B. And so I just assumed that's what I had too, because I had similar symptoms and things like that. They did not give her any prescriptions. They did recommend some over-the-counter stuff. And so I just took the same over-the-counter stuff. And man, I'm one of these guys that rarely gets sick, but when I do, it's usually pretty bad. And this one's bad. I just can't seem to kick it. And so as a result of that, I've had a ton of doctor's appointments. And I've basically been doing loads from Lubbock to Fort Worth and back to Lubbock, or Lubbock to the DFW area, basically. And so I'm still doing good revenue-wise, things like that. But a lot of the loads, since they're shorter, they've interfered with making videos and things like that. Truck's running great. I did have an air leak. I have found a mechanic in Lubbock that does mobile mechanic work. He's very reasonably priced, and I can usually get same-day service. So I'm really happy with him. And I do have a tire right now with a nail in it that I'm having to keep aired up. And so I'm going to get that fixed in the morning. I've got an air hose and everything on the truck, and I've been manually airing it up a couple of times a day. But after I deliver this load in Lubbock tonight, then I'll go over to the Loves and get it fixed first thing in the morning. And then I'm heading out. No more hanging around the house. I got work to do. And so we got somebody that just did a bunch of gifts. Let me get to that. We're going to come back and get to all your comments here in just a minute. Got a couple of things I want to talk about first before I get to the comments before I forget. And I also want to make the big announcement. Midlife Trucker channel member gifted 5 Trucker Todd memberships. So it's going to be a good night for 5 lucky viewers. YouTube gives those out. I don't have any say-so on it. But I certainly appreciate Midlife doing that. So earlier this week, somebody sent me a clip of another YouTuber that was talking about me. And normally I don't bring this stuff up, but it's relevant to this story. Also, before I get to this story, I'm in a wind advisory area right now, so we may have a really cool show. My truck may blow over while I'm sitting here doing this video. But anyway, sorry about that. Squirrel. I'll try to get back on subject here. Anyway, this YouTuber was saying that basically that I was like a lot of other big YouTubers, that all of these people had followed me to Swift, and I was supposedly making all this money. And then look at me now. And the other YouTubers he grouped me in with, they're all unemployed right now. or to the best of my knowledge, they're unemployed unless they recently got work. I've been with the guy I'm with, and those of you that watch my videos know SRO Logistics for about 7 months now or so. I know it's longer than that. I want to say it's about 8 months now. And I'm happy as I can be. You can go back and watch my videos. I've even got his email scrolling across the ticker at the bottom of the screen if you've got a truck and you'd like to know more about going to work for him. So I'm not sure how I got coupled in with those guys, but I just kind of laughed and said, well, this guy doesn't know what's going on. He's obviously not seen any of my videos lately, but I brought it up for this reason. Also in the news this week, they came up with a law to determine who's going to be independent contractors and who's going to be considered employees. And let me get that gift off of there so y'all can see the website. And I want to talk about that. And the reason I brought up my situation is I want to compare it to my situation at Swift. Now, somebody emailed me today wanting to know my take on Swift, if I thought they should do a lease purchase over there right now. And before I answer that question, I kind of want to talk about this law that's supposedly coming out. Now, there was a lot of YouTubers that took the easy way out. They made clickbait videos. They made scare you videos. Oh, the sky's falling. No more independent contractors. We're all screwed. It's really, really bad. And I just want to kind of separate fact from fiction. Now, before I do that, also in my ticker, it says that the views and opinions expressed in this video are mine and mine alone. I would also like to point out I'm not a lawyer. Anything I say, if it sounds too good to be true or you're not sure about it, you should do your own research. You should contact a professional lawyer and get you professional advice. I'm just going to give you my opinion as I see things, 27 years driving a truck. So the first thing I noticed when I started looking into this new, well, it's not a proposed law, it's supposed to come out March 11th, was that it has 6 key factors to it. And most of the YouTubers I saw didn't know what the 6 key factors were. Now, I'm not throwing rocks at them. This law is over 300 pages, well over 300 pages. I haven't read it. I've seen summaries of it, things like that. I probably won't read it because it's in legalese. It'll be boring. And quite frankly, I don't have time to sit down and read 330 or 360 pages of legalese. I've got too much going on. So let's talk about this and let's compare what I'm doing now to what I did at Swift. And let's see if this law is going to affect me. Now, what I'd like you to do while I'm doing this is play along at home. For those of you in a lease purchase or those of you that own your truck and you're leased onto a company, compare this to what you're currently doing and see if you think you're in danger or jeopardy. Now, you might remember back in 2021, they came out with a 2-factor test to determine if you were an independent contractor or if you were an employee. And those that don't know, it's going to be a big difference. If you're an employee, you're going to get employee benefits. The company's going to pay your payroll taxes, your things like that. If you're an independent contractor, it's all up to you. So having said all of that, now they've added 4 more things to it. Before the 2 things that were weighted, now they're all equally weighted, all 6 things. And this is supposed to go in effect March 11th of 2024. Supposed to. We'll talk about that as well. All right. The first one is about control. Does the employer have control over your work? At Swift, absolutely. They were dispatching me. They did have a load board, but it was their load board. They controlled what loads went on it. So for this one, were I still at Swift, I would definitely be under company control. What I'm doing now, SRO Logistics, I'm pulling usually 2 to 4 loads a week, let's say, and they're all with different brokers. The employer basically has no control over it. He has some guidelines like can't pull hazmat, can't go to Canada, can't go to California or Oregon. But as far as control goes, I pick when I haul, what I haul, my rate, things like that. So I think I'm safe with SRO Logistics on this first one. The second one, do I have an opportunity for profit or loss? And it's referring to the worker, of course, not the company. And I would say, yes, I do have an opportunity for profit or loss. I lost a lot when my truck broke down for 8 weeks. And so I lost a whole lot. And I lost a lot when I lost the Volvo earlier this year. So with SRO Logistics, I would say yes, I'm safe in this one too. These are the first two originally from 2021 that basically carried over. Now let's talk about Swift. I would say the same. Let's be fair to Swift. I had an opportunity to make money, had an opportunity to lose money. 9 times out of 10, I made money and made really good money at Swift. So this isn't turning into a Swift bashing video. This is just an honest reaction to the law that's supposed to come out. And I keep saying supposed. You'll see why on March 11th here in a minute. Let's see. The next one. Does the work that the contractor does require an amount of skill, increased skill, or initiative? At Swift, not so much because they were dispatching me. Like I said, maybe so if you were doing their load board, which I understand right now is kind of DOA over there. But still, they're dispatching you. They're working with you. It's a sliding mileage pay scale, so it doesn't really require that much more skill than what a company driver does. The training wheels are kind of on. How about SRO Logistics? Does it require extra skill? Absolutely. I'm looking on the spot market. I'm contacting brokers. I'm negotiating my own rates. I'm, making a lot of business level decisions that a lot of lease purchase guys don't make. And so for Swift, I would say not so much. For SRO Logistics, I would say absolutely. This requires more skill and more initiative than. And here's another thing about initiative. I can go home and sit for 4 or 5 days. Nobody's going to probably say anything to me. Scott might call me at some point and ask me if I'm okay, if my health's all right. But he's not going to say, hey, you need to get back to work. He expects me to know that. He expects me to be an adult. And so the initiative falls on me. This working at SRO Logistics would be a terrible place to work. Terrible if you don't have any initiative, if you're not a self-starter, if you're not a go-getter. If you've got to have somebody micromanage you and tell you what to do and where to be and when to be there, this probably wouldn't be a good fit for you. Swift would be a good fit for you. They're gonna kind of help you along and hold your hand and say, oh, you really only need to stay home 3 days. Not so much at SRO. It's your business. He does treat you like an independent contractor. And that's why I think for the most part, he's going to be safe, even if this law does come to fruition. Now, the one that might get me in trouble, and it wouldn't matter if I was at Swift or at SRO Logistics, is permanence of work. Is the work am I contracted for a few months or a year, or is it like I can work here as long as I want? And fortunately and unfortunately for this law, but fortunately for me, there's no set time limit. It doesn't say you can only work here 6 months and then the job ends and you got to go somewhere else. Now, I don't know how this law would affect that. It might be that SRO would have to come up with a contract that we renewed every year like we did at Roadrunner. Every January at Roadrunner, they came out with a new contract for the year, and you had to sign it. So it was a year-to-year contract. Maybe something like that will have to come, but I'm not terribly worried about it yet. Let me get through the rest of these, and then I'll tell you why. Does the worker, this number 5, does the worker invest in specialized equipment? Depends on what you consider specialized equipment. And this would be true for Swift or SRO Logistics. We do have some stuff, load locks, tire chains, tools to work on the truck, things like that. I don't know if that would be considered specialized equipment. I've got the Samsara dash cam that was pretty expensive. So I've got some specialized equipment, but I would have to look and see more detail in the law if that would qualify or not. And the 6th and final one, how integral is the worker's work to the business? At Swift, I think this one would hit them pretty hard because you're pulling their freight, their contract freight. So it's real integral to their business. To SRO Logistics, I don't think it's that integral. I'm dealing with, 2 or 3, sometimes 4 brokers a week. And so Scott's running his truck. Other guys are running their truck. I don't know that my business is that integral to the overall company. Again, I'd want to read the law, get a little more clarification. But let me tell you why I'm not worried about any of this. And the reason is this is why you shouldn't be worried yet either. And for those of you that say I'm just on here for clicks, I could have made a recorded video and got thousands of views on this subject because everybody's scared right now. But here's the deal. No matter what happens, this is not going into effect on March 11th. It's going to get challenged by OIDA. Even ATA is going to challenge it. Can you believe that? When was the last time I agreed with ATA on anything? And I want to say another thing about this too. This is not political. Both political parties have had something to do with all this stuff we don't like in trucking right now. There was a lot of it that happened during George Bush's administration, Obama, Biden, Trump. As a matter of fact, this new independent contractor thing kind of started under the Trump administration. And there's plenty of blame to go around. It's not just one political party we need to point a finger at and say, they're the bad guys here. But this is going to get challenged in court by multiple entities. It's not going to happen on March 11th. They're going to get a continuance on it. It's going to get postponed. And who should be worried? Let's talk about that for a second. If you're with one of these fly-by-night shady companies that are doing shady lease purchases, basically in the Chicago area, you know who you are, then yeah, you should be worried. If you're a company driver running 1099, you should probably be worried. They're probably going to put a stop to that. That might actually come to your benefit. Your checks are going to be smaller, but you're going to owe a lot less taxes. You're probably going to have benefits, things like that. If your lease purchase with a company that dispatches you, I would be moderately nervous. But if you're doing a deal like I am, where you're running the spot market, picking your own loads, negotiating your own rates, I really, really believe in my heart that you're safe. And we'll see if I'm right or wrong. Hey, right now, I'll guarantee you while I'm saying this, somebody's recording it. And if I'm wrong, there'll be a video come out on YouTube. Oh, Trucker Todd was wrong again. But just my take on things, this is how I see things right now. All right, let's get to the big announcement, and then we'll jump back into the comments. I've been going for about 20 minutes now, so it's about time to get into the comments here. The big announcement is you do not want to miss the Tuesday show. We're going to do something we've never done before on this channel. It's outright crazy. I can't believe I'm doing it. Only 2 people know about it. One of them said, that sounds crazy, don't do it. One of them said, yeah, that's a great idea, do it. So for obvious reasons, I'm not going to announce what it is on here tonight. There would be people that would try to sabotage me. or that they would outright copy me and do it before I did it. But whatever you do, find a way to be here for the Tuesday show. Now, since I said that, something will happen and I won't be able to do a Tuesday show. But I'm really excited about this, and I'm going to do my best to do a Tuesday show so that we can do this. I think it's going to be exciting. I think you're going to enjoy it, and I think you're going to want to be here for that. By the way, one last thing before I jump in the comments. If you receive one of those free memberships that Midlife sent out tonight, please let us know. I like to know who gets them. And when you do that, also some of you others that might want to do that, there's a little $ down by where you comment. If you click on that, it'll give you options for purchasing memberships and donating them to people here in the chat. And like I said, nobody has control over it. YouTube decides who gets them based on activity. And so, again, thank you to Midlife for doing that. And hopefully you guys will enjoy it. There's still, people are like, when are you going to do a video on your truck and trailer? Soon. I have been in super cold weather and super sick. And I just want to get the truck washed before we show it to everybody. And I'd like to clean the inside. If I'm in Lubbock tomorrow and I don't get sent out on a load, I can't find anything, I'm going to run the vacuum cleaner through here and make the bed and stuff like that. And then I'll show you the truck. It's not that I'm ashamed of it. I'm actually very proud of it. I had to get the DOT inspection on the truck and trailer. And it's at the Loves I always go to in Lubbock. I've never had this happen before. They stopped the inspection and they come in there where I was sitting in the waiting area and they're like, man, Todd, that truck is nice. And I said, no, it's dirty. I said, it's dirty, but I said, it's a good truck. They're like, man, you took good care of it. I said, well, I wish I could take credit for it. I just got the truck a few weeks ago. The guy before me took care of it. And they're like, yeah, he must have babied that truck. It's nice. It's going to be a good one for you. And that felt really good to hear. And I said, well, it was on a Saturday. I said, I'm sorry I didn't wash it. I wanted to wash it before I bring it over here, but the truck wash was closed on Saturday. And they're like, it's one of the cleaner trucks we've had today, if that tells you anything. And I said, well, I appreciate that, but it's a lot dirtier than what I'm used to. And so that's nice to know that they went over it top to bottom, front to back. And they also feel like I have a great truck. And so I'm really excited. It's and same thing with the trailer. The trailer's great. I did contact the investor, and I just thanked him again. I was like, man, this truck is great, and told him about the mechanics. Or I think I told somebody. I think it was him, the investor, and I know I told another good friend of mine that's in here tonight, but I thought I told the investor too. But anyway, I'm going off on tangents now. I'm sure I forgot to tell you about something I meant to tell you. Oh, yeah, one more thing. I'm sorry this is taking so long. I showed these in a previous video, but they came in the mail. These came in. One of my viewers made it. That one says Trucker Todd on it. And you hang it on your air horn. And I call it the Trucker Todd Tugger. And give it a tug and it'll honk your air horn. I've had to use it a couple of times today. I took it down so I could show it to you. And he sent me a bunch of them. And the second it came in the mail, my wife's like, I want that one. I want that one. And so I told her she could have 2 of them, but we're still going to have some leftover ones. If you would like one, email me at todd@truckertodd.net. And I'll try to sell them to you at whatever y'all think's fair. I'm not trying to get rich off of these. I'm going to send most of the money back to the guy that made them. But anyway, I wanted to show you some of the others because they're pretty cool. He's making some more, and I think he can do customization too. My wife asked for a couple of specific ones, and he's going to try to make them for her. This one's kind of a light blue, and it's shorter. It's really nice. They look a lot better in person. When I showed them on that first video, it didn't do them justice. They're a lot nicer than what than what I originally showed you. This one is Texas Tech colors, kind of red and black. It's nice. My uncle's a big Texas Tech fan. I think he would like that one. And here's another one. Let me see if I can get some more light in here. This one is, it's red, but it almost has a different color mixed into it. It's neat looking. It's almost like a Hirschbach color, but a little lighter. I don't know how to describe it. This is one of the ones my wife wants. It's a smaller one. It's black and blue with the little beads on the end of it, and I think that one's pretty cool too. She also likes the purple hook on it, but she's wanting to use it as a key ring, obviously, because she's not a truck driver. And I think it would look good for men using it as a tugger. And I think for women, it'd look good on a purse or as a keychain, something like that. Here's another one. This one's kind of red and gray, and it's neat looking too. Again, most of these are shorter than the one I got. The one I got's 12 inches, and a lot of these others are like 6 inches. That one's a little longer. I don't know. Let's see. I didn't rehearse this. This one's actually a little longer than 12 inch. Well, I guess it's about 11 inches because the beads make that one a little longer. Something like that. But they're really nice. And like I said, showing them on here doesn't really do them justice. And my wife's excited because I wouldn't let her have one until after I did this video and showed them off. And so next time I see her, she'll get to pick out which ones she wants. This is one I really like. It's kind of blue and gray. And it's really nice. The hook on it is, there you go. It's blue as well. And almost to the end, I just wanted to show these because the other video I didn't really show them that well. Looks like we got 3 more. Here's another short one. I think my wife wants this one too. It's kind of blue and gray. And it's really nice with a red hook on it. Guy that makes these is really, really talented. Here's another one of my favorites. I can imagine an Oakland Raider fan liking this one. It's kind of black and gray, and even the hook is black. And the final one, kind of a red and blue. My lighting in here isn't the best, so one thing, I like a lot about this Freightliner, but one thing I've noticed is the sleeper is a lot darker in a Freightliner than it is in a Kenworth. And maybe I'll do a recorded video pretty soon and kind of compare the Freightliner to this and, I mean the Freightliner to the Kenworth, and maybe do another video comparing this Freightliner to the Freightliner I had at Swift and things like that. Just kind of give you my take on both of them. But let's jump into the comments. Man, I've been going almost 30 minutes. Some of you have been waiting a long time. Roger Berry, channel member, was first in today. Thank you for being here, sir. He says, greetings from LA, but he does not mean Los Angeles, and he doesn't even mean Louisiana. He's in Lower Alabama tonight. And I was looking at the weather earlier today, and it looks like that pretty much the whole country, except for Texas and Oklahoma, are going to get pounded this week. So I'm probably going to stay in Texas till about Sunday before I start venturing out of the state, just kind of doing loads around Texas. A trucker named Tim, channel member, is here. Good to see you, sir. And channel member Robbie Ross is present. Says, hello, friends. Thank you for being here, sir. Blues Trucker US says, good evening, Trucker Todd and chat. Good evening, sir. And channel member Midlife says, I'm behind schedule. Just a hair. I started it at 5:30 instead of 5. I could have probably started it at 5, but on these lives, if you don't give YouTube at least 30 minutes notice, the notifications don't go out right. And I wanted everybody to be here for this one, especially since I hadn't done a video in a while. A lot of people were worried about me. Usually when I don't do a video, people get mad. Now they're starting to get concerned. They're not mad anymore. They're like, "Hey man, are you okay? Are you in the hospital? What's going on?" And so I wanted the notifications to go out so everybody could see for themselves that I'm still alive and well and kicking in the truck, still working, and actually doing pretty good, to be honest. And channel member Midlife says he's chilling in Effingham. I'd actually like to go there. This truck, and I'm not for the reason you think. I need to go there and see the diesel doctor. This truck has, and it's not to get the speed turned up, it doesn't have fast idle on it. There's no way to set the fast idle, so I need to get that turned on, especially in the winter, because when it gets down sub-zero temperatures and I need to idle, if it's idling at a slow idle, it's not going to keep the heat warm or nothing. I'm going to be really, really cold. And so I'd probably have to idle it and go stay in a hotel or something. And so I need to get, and I know I could go to Freightliner. It's going to be more expensive at Freightliner and probably more difficult. They're going to want to call the investor and make sure it's okay to turn the fast idle on and all that. It'd be a lot easier if I just went to Diesel Doctor in Effingham and got it done there. Red Raider Reloading channel member says, hello. Thank you, sir. Hello, truckers. What he tried to type, it didn't come across good. Brian Walton, what up, bud? Hope things have been going well. Yeah, like I said, we had that little air leak. I got a flat I got to get fixed tomorrow that keeps going down. I have to air it up. I'll have to air it up after this video. I purposefully stopped at a truck stop that has air hoses at the pumps. I have an air hose in here, but it'll go up to about 105 and then it runs out of steam. And those truck stop ones, they'll usually go up a little higher. Red Raider Reloading channel member says, hello all, hello. And my uncle Racing Ray is here. Hey Todd, hey Racing Ray, thank you for being here. Hey, I would have got to the comments quicker if I would have known we had YouTube royalty here. DIY Semis here. He says, good morning. DIY, if you're still here, what's your thoughts on this law for March 11th? Matthew Miller says, hey everyone. Jay Fisher says, hey, 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 hey. And P.U. Patel, good evening, Trucker Todd from Springfield, Missouri. Man, part of me would like to be there, and part of me thinks, man, I bet the weather is something else. Are any of you in really, really bad weather right now? I know Skyhook has had to shut down a couple of times this week because of bad weather. Skyline, who's different from Skyhook, says, what's up, Todd? Hello, all is well. I'm in a blizzard here in Nebraska. Oh, wow. So Skyline is in a blizzard. I knew a lot of you were. I know a lot of you know this. Let me go ahead and say it anyway. Stop somewhere and get you some canned food, at least 3 days worth of emergency food. Get you a couple of gallons of drinking water, things like that. Make sure you have plenty of blankets on the truck. So if you get, if they shut down the interstate and you're snowed in out there on the interstate, you've got food and water and blankets and things like that. Maybe get the little bottled water so that if you're better prepared than another truck driver beside you, you can give them a couple of bottles of water or something like that. Trucks tend to break down in extreme cold and extreme heat, and the more prepared you are, the better off you're going to be. Maybe carry some spare parts, like a belt or something, in case you get somewhere and can't get parts. You say, hey, well, I got the part right here. It might save you some downtime. Another thing, if you've got a block heater on your truck, make sure you've got 100 foot of extension cord or something. So maybe you can get somewhere and plug it in. If you do have to go to a hotel, maybe the hotel has electrical plugs where you can plug it in and keep your block warm while you're in the hotel. Trucker Dan, what's up, Trucker Todd? Not much, sir. Thank you for being here tonight. Mud Truckin' says, what's happening, Trucker Todd? Blessings, brother. Thank you, sir. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I appreciate y'all waiting for me this last 2 weeks. I feel like I let you guys down. I hate when I can't do a video for you guys. One of the nights I was supposed to do a video, the load was supposed to deliver at 8 a.m. And I thought, oh, that's great. I'll be able to do a video that night. And they called me when I was en route, and they're like, can you deliver it before 10 o'clock tonight? And I said, yeah, I guess. So I ended up having to cancel that video because I was driving during showtime. And one thing I won't do, and you can go back and look at all my videos, I won't do a video while I'm driving. Now, I'll use dash cam footage and put music to it on TikTok or something like that. Maybe now that I've got the GoPros, I'll set one of those in the windshield and let it go while I'm driving. But there won't be any interactions like there is now. I won't be looking at the comments, replying to the comments. And I'm not even sure I'll do it because, you're doing that and a car pulls out in front of you and you have an accident, you're automatically going to be at fault. And they're automatically going to sue you. And it's just better if I don't. So I purposefully, if I'm sitting in the front seat, I angle the camera to where you can see I'm parked. And like tonight, you can tell I'm obviously parked because I'm on my laptop in the sleeper. Shane Lee says, good evening, Mr. Todd. Good evening, Shane. Thank you for being here. Midlife channel member talking about the wind. If the wind gets too bad, lower your landing gear and drop your airbags. Yep, that's great advice. This truck does not have an airbag dump, so I can't do that, but I could lower the landing gear for sure. Coach Retvet, hello all. Hello, sir. Thank you for being here tonight. DIY Semi, if you guys talking about you put half that effort into actually working, they might get somewhere. Yes, sir. That's great advice. I'm trying to think how I want to explain this, but that's a great point, DIY. If they would spend, and I know that Cash is King shares my frustration when he gets some of the critical comments towards him. They spend so much time trying to fit me into a box, into a narrative. And if they spent half that time, instead of attacking me, just trying to figure out how to make their business successful, they'd be so much better off. And even if they are running the perfect business and they feel like there's nothing that needs to be improved, try helping others instead of tearing others down, giving advice. I used to say this to church people. They'd say, well, I don't go to church because I already know the Bible. I went for 20 years. And I would say, well, if you know the Bible that well, then you need to be at church teaching others that don't know it as well as you. And I would say the same thing about trucking. If you've got it figured out, and I'm such a screw up, and Cassius King is such a screw up, and DIY is such a screw up, then why aren't you on YouTube teaching others? And why aren't you at the truck stop helping others? Are you getting out and helping people back in a spot, or have you got your cell phone out recording them? And so, yeah, I appreciate that comment there, DIY. Gary Cook, good evening. I'm tuning in late tonight. That's all right. I was late getting here. Better late than never. I'm currently watching a Snyder truck get towed out of this truck stop. I don't know what's wrong with his truck, but he's getting the treatment. It's not being towed for like where he parked or something. He's got some mechanical issues. Skyline, if you don't have your own DOT number and you work for someone else's DOT number, you are not a business owner, in my opinion. Well, Skyline, I disagree with you because by definition, when you get your own LLC, you're a business owner. And technically, a sole proprietor is a business owner. Having your DOT number is not a great idea, as a lot of people have seen this year. Road Scholar, the trucking coach or whatever you want to call him, the first 6 or 8 months that that you have your own DOT number, almost all the brokers won't work with you. There's a couple that will, but they're the bottom of the barrel companies that I do my best not to ever pull a load for those companies. So I would disagree that a DOT number is what makes you a business owner. Also, the insurance for the first year is ridiculously expensive. And I will guarantee you that first year with SRO Logistics, I'll make more than what a first year driver will make with his own DOT numbers. Guarantee it. When we're talking net, end of the year net. Gary Cook, I'm doing power only with USA Truck, but I'm leased to Advanced Trucking. Yeah, see, I would think Gary Cook would be pretty safe because you go back and look at those 6 things I talked about. Again, I'm not a lawyer, but he's not pulling Advanced Trucking Freight. He's pulling USA Freight. What might get you in trouble on that, though, is it's still only one broker, and it's a broker that Advanced Trucking required you to set up with. So I don't know. Whereas my situation, it's literally endless brokers. I can work with just about anybody as long as they can pass the credit check for factoring. Channel member Midlife, your contract should have a term with a start and finish date. It has a start date, but it finishes when I terminate the contract or when he terminates the contract. And what I'm talking about is the business operating agreement, the BOA. Obviously, with the investor, I have a financial agreement, and it terminates in 3 years when I pay the truck off. But I've never had a lease that the contract ended at a certain date. They'll let you work there as long as you want to. I say never. I did it Roadrunner. They renewed it every year. So every year they'd send you a contract in January and you'd sign it. And I thought it was weird because I'd never experienced that before. SRJ, hello all. Made it home to Wisconsin before the next snowstorm rolls in. Oh, well, you're at a good place. Get you some hot chocolate and some marshmallows and watch you some TV and play some video games. Trucker Dan, what's up? Trucker Todd, how you doing? I'm doing good, my friend. Just working my life away. I've been joking this week. Some of you may have heard me say it. I'm like, man, I'm going to have a talk with my dispatcher. They're working the crap out of me. And I self-dispatch. So basically, I'm saying I need to have a talk with me. I'm working me too hard. Channel member Midlife, specialized equipment. Your 16 Freightliner would be specialized equipment. That's a 17, but I get your point. Desert Okie Pam. Good evening, Todd. Good evening, Pam. Where are you at tonight? Are you in the weather? Or are you in sunny Arizona? Channel member Robbie Ross, special playoff edition on the Trucker Todd show. Maybe. It depends which Cowboys show up on playoff day. If it's the ones that play like they played against the Redskins, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a video and showing it. But if it's the ones that showed up the week before, I don't know. But the problem is everybody knows I'm watching the game and my phone blows up every time the Cowboys start playing. I didn't even get to watch the last game against the Redskins because I had so many phone calls and emails coming in. But now that we're in the playoffs, it might be time to turn my phones off and just enjoy the game. P.U. Patel, Trucker Todd, what is the weekly earning potential for a mentor at Swift as a lease op? That's a great question. I've never trained at Swift, never wanted to train at Swift, but I can tell you what other trainers at Swift have told me, and they say that it all depends on the trainee. Some of them you can actually make less with a trainee if they're if they're just not getting it, if they have a backing accident and tear up your equipment, you're in the shop. Some of them you can do really good with. It's really a case-by-case basis. I would say, and a lot of people are going to get mad at me for saying this, same thing with lease purchase. What is your reason for wanting to train, or what is your reason for wanting to do lease purchase? If either one of those things, your main reason for wanting to do it is more money, then don't do it. If your reason is you want the challenge, you want to be a truck owner, you want to be a business owner, then maybe do it. Same thing with training. If your reason for wanting to be a trainer is you don't like the direction that trucking is going, and you don't like the rookies that are out here now, maybe you want to teach them, you want to try to have an impact on what comes out of truck driving schools, then definitely become a trainer. But if your goal is just to make more money, I think you're going to be disappointed. Obviously, you will make more money, but you're also risking your safety. You're also giving up a lot of your privacy, your alone time. And, you may get a psycho in your truck. There's some of them that end up in fist fights in the ditch and stuff. So I've just never, I trained a couple of guys at Prime, and I decided that wasn't for me. Hello, how are you? Is the Snowman. Hey, Snowman, thank you for being here. I am doing great, my friend. Brian Walton got one of the memberships from Midlife. He's now a channel member. He says, thank you, Midlife, for the membership. Skyline says, lucky rubber ducky, Brian. Yep, he was lucky. And Brian, channel member, is getting a laugh out of that. I'm reading along for those that are driving and can't read the comments. Yeah, I showed those a minute ago, Robbie. Let me pull out the ones that are Cowboys colors. Mine obviously is. And this one here is. This is the one that my wife really wants. If I can find my camera on my laptop. And this one kind of is. It's kind of a grayish blue, not as much as the other one was. This one is. This one's mine that says Trucker Todd on it. And that's really it for Cowboys colors. I know he's talked about doing some different NFL colored ones, and I'm sure he could make stuff like that. But one thing he's having trouble with is both of us are figuring out how to price them. And so I think the best way to do it is just email me at todd@truckertodd.net, or those of you that's got my number, text me. Tell me what you're looking for and what you think's a fair price, and I'll pitch it to him and see what he says. He enjoys doing it in his spare time, so I know it'd bring him a lot of joy to make them and distribute them to people that would enjoy them. Skyhook is here, channel member. Finally, good deal, sir. Channel member Brian Walton, the Cowboys have their work cut out for them through the playoffs. Yeah, but I mean, all of the teams in the playoffs are good, or they wouldn't have been there. So I always hate when they say, oh, well, that's just because they played that team, or they just played that team. But we'll see what happens. An injury can change everything if somebody gets hurt in the first quarter. So we'll see what happens. That's why they play the game. We all think we know how it's going to go, but it'll be fun to watch. SRJ says, go Packers. Channel member RGB. Hey, RGB. And Midlife, channel members are talking about the horn tugger. Drivers can add one of these to their air horn pull, then roll The drivers then roll driver's window up with the cord in it. Instant burglar alarm. I've actually done that a few times. If you roll your window down while you're going down the highway and then roll your window back up, it'll fly out the window, and then it's like flapping while you're going down the highway. So I have to roll my window back down, pull it back in. But yeah, I really like it, and a couple of people have seen it already, and they're commenting, "Man, that looks cool." My wife, when she was dropping me off at the truck the other day, I had it hanging on the air horn, and she's like, "Wow, that looks cool." I want to talk about one more thing real quick, and then we'll jump back in the comments. These, and I meant to cover this when we was talking about all these laws. We have a tendency to think every time there's a school shooting or a traffic accident, all we need is one more law and it'll fix everything. We've got plenty of laws on the books. You and I could write 1,000,000 laws tonight, and there would still be crime. There would still be problems in the world. And nothing is more evident of this than the new safety technology that they're putting on trucks, that they're putting on cars. And I want to talk about the little brick in the bumper for a second, because they're on cars too. The problem is people have become so reliant on that safety stuff that they feel like they can text when they drive now. They feel like they don't have to pay as close attention because the truck is looking for them. And my wife has a friend that just got a new Nissan Sentra, I think it is. It's the little Nissan. And she'll pull up to red lights and she doesn't even hit her brakes. She lets the bumper, the little brick in the front of her bumper, stop her car. And she's so impressed with that. Look, my car will stop itself. And, it'll slow her down if she's got her cruise control on. She's tailgating somebody, just like what the trucks do. And she's so impressed with that. But all of that stuff is supposed to be supplemental. You're still supposed to be driving the car, paying attention. The steering wheel will shake if you get out of your lane. All of that is supposed to help you in a second of inactivity. It's not supposed to take over driving the car for you to where you can text or do your nails or fix your hair. And I think that's the problem that we've got right now. And again, this isn't political. We're sitting here thinking, instead of teaching people to drive better, instead of teaching people how to react when a truck's nearby, we're just saying, we'll create a new law. We'll create a new safety feature. And that's the problem. There's no personal responsibility anymore. If I'm not good at something, a computer or AI or something will fix it for me. I don't have to increase my following distance. The truck will do it for me. I don't have to obey the speed limit. The truck will watch for speed limit signs and tell me when I need to slow down. And I just think those things are great to have when they work properly. And right now they don't even work properly. They're trying to make that a law where even trucks that don't have the automatic braking systems have to get them retro installed. And that's going to cost $1 or $2. But I don't think we need none of that. I think we need to, my very first pickup, and I've talked about this, was a 1977 four-wheel drive Ford F-150. That truck, you had to drive. You had to kind of keep it in your lane. And you didn't text and drive, and we didn't have cell phones back then. But even if you would have, if you'd have texted and drove in that truck, you'd have been in the ditch. You didn't do your do your nails if you're a girl, or read the newspaper. You better drive the truck. And, now cars, the technology, the steering's tighter, the alignments are tighter. And we've just become lackadaisical about things that we need to be in charge of. We don't need more laws. We don't need more safety equipment, unless it does make things safer. But we do need a lot more personal responsibility and self-accountability. All righty, next. That's my lecture for the night. Shannon Thomas Trucking is here. Thank you for being here, Shannon. Running Amazon Relay in Indy so far. Weather is cold but dry. Well, that's all you can ask for these days. Amen. DIY Semi just made another great point, and I agree completely. March 11th, we'll figure it out. We are always smarter than them. That's true. Like I was saying, even in my situation, maybe SRO Logistics has to come out with a contract that renews every year. Maybe that's what they tell him he's got to do to be compliant. But if you're with one of these shady fly-by-night companies, you should be scrambling right now. And if you're one of these company drivers and you know you're a company driver getting paid $10.99, you may want to sit down and have a serious conversation with your employer. But I'm just going to be honest. I think guys like me that work at SRO Logistics, we're safe. I think the guys that work with Jeffrey Like, they're probably safe. And so we'll see what happens. I may be way off base, and if I am, there'll be 100 people waiting to tell me how wrong I got it. But I think that's another thing. You know, people playing the victim. You know, I heard it today on the radio. Oh, people are being forced into these 1099 jobs. Nobody's forcing you into anything. They offered you a contract and you signed it. If you signed a bad contract, that's your deal. We don't need the government stepping in saying, well, nobody can make a deal because you made a bad deal. You just need to make better decisions in the future. Again, it goes back to personal responsibility. And that's a great comment, DIY. I appreciate it. I agree with you. Amen at DIY, says Shannon Thomas. Yes, I agree with you. Skyhook Trucker channel member, I'm finally out of the snow. I'm in Antrim Township, Pennsylvania at the TA. Yeah, I was talking about you earlier. I said that a couple times this week you'd been in some bad weather and had to shut down. And we watched the Weather Channel the other night, and it looked like the whole country's about to get pounded. Let's see here. Trucker Dan was in Wamsutter, Wyoming for 2 days yesterday and the day before because of the weather. Well, be careful out there. And you know this, Trucker Dan, you've been around for a while, but these dispatchers, don't let them pressure you into doing something you don't feel comfortable doing. I don't care if they say they've had 10 trucks go through there that day. They don't have your load. They don't have your truck. They don't have your experience. You know what you can do and what you can't do, and that's all that matters. Same thing with backing in a dock. I don't care if 4 trucks backed in there before you. They might be a different wheelbase. They might be a different trailer. If you can't do it, you can't do it. Don't rip the doors off your trailer or rip the mirrors off somebody's truck because you're trying to be super trucker and squeeze into a place that for whatever reason your skill level's not there. Back in the day when there was cab overs, we used to give JB Hunt $20 and they'd back our trailer in if we got somewhere and we didn't think we could do it. They could put those things anywhere with that cab over. It was almost like a yard jockey. Skyhook channel member says left Omaha, Nebraska yesterday morning at 2:30 a.m. and going through Iowa was an adventure, but made it to Pennsylvania this afternoon. Yeah, Iowa looked really, really bad. I looked at a couple of loads to Iowa and I was like, nah, I think I'm going to stay in Texas. Your crazy uncle says, amen, brother. Well, thank you, sir. Gary Cook says, last couple of weeks, I've been playing in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Rhode Island, been doing pretty good. Yeah, that's, you know, and I've said this too. When I was at Dart, I got really, really good at winter driving. And so I'm not afraid of those places. And I'm sure you're the same way, Gary. But what I do worry about is when I'm on a 2-lane road, somebody else losing control and sliding out in front of me. If I'm the only one out there, I'll be fine. I can get through it. I'll go slow. I'll watch what I'm doing. But these cars, and what's worse is these big 4-wheel drive pickups that they think because they got 4-wheel drive, they can do 80 miles an hour. I worry about them sliding out in front of me. Sorry, I got to get a drink. Or these LTL companies that are pulling doubles and their company's forcing them to run. I worry about them losing control and hitting me head on. But as far as me handling the truck, I know when to hold them and when to fold them. And if I think it's too bad, I'll park. And same thing with the chain law. If it's time for the chain law, it's time to park. If you can't walk on it, you shouldn't drive on it. And fortunately, I work for a company that he's very, very understanding about that. And here's a shocker. All of the brokers I've dealt with are really, really understanding about it. I haven't had any yet that have said, and this goes beyond SRO logistics. Even when I was at Dart and Swift, I've never had a broker that tried to pressure me to go when I didn't feel safe. And so that's something that's nice as well, when it's really your decision. They all say you're the captain of your ship until you try to make that decision. Then they're like, oh, we really need it. Everybody else is doing it. But fortunately, the people I've dealt with have never put me in that position. Shane Lee says I-80 looks like a semi-gravel yard today. Oh, I bet. And channel member Skyhook says, yes, it does, Shane. Skyline says, oh my gosh, so I'm a business owner with my own LLC. Legally, yes. If you don't have your own truck, I'm not sure. You're not an active business. You're an idle business. But yeah, that's I mean, just look what LLC stands for, a limited liability corporation. You are a small corporation. I would say you'll be a lot more of a business when you buy your truck here soon. But I mean, this is no different than, let me think of it this way. If you own a roofing business, your LLC, let's say Skyline Roofing LLC, and Swift Transportation hires you to put a roof on one of their buildings. You're a contractor for Swift to put a roof on their building. Do you suddenly stop becoming a business because you don't own Swift? Think about that for a second. Skyhook, channel member, it's going to take a few days to clean Iowa 80. Iowa 80, good Lord. I-80 in Iowa for sure. I just twisted a bunch of words together. Speed Shifter 1981. Hey, Todd, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. I probably should have said that. Glad y'all are all still here with me. We're trekking along. T. Stifler says, howdy, all. T. Stifler says, hey, Todd, is $1,700 a week good pay for company driver? Guaranteed. Yeah, I think it is. I think that's great. Some of it depends where you live. In Lubbock, Texas, that would be excellent. But I think in most parts of the countries, it'd be good. I know a company driver right now that his gross is usually about $1,800 a week if he's working. And I think he has a guarantee of like $1,200 or $1,300. So yeah, that would be making almost what he makes working. But the devil's always in the details on these kind of things. These companies will give you a guarantee, but then there's so many loopholes you got to jump through that nobody ever gets it. If it's a $1,700 a week guarantee with no loopholes or no tricks, then yeah, it's a good deal. But I would just check it out real good. But yeah, it sounds good. Nomad Nexa Halls. Evening, Todd. Glad to see you back on live. I'm glad to be back, man. Skyline says, I think $15 or $20 would be a fair price for those horn tuggers. That's what I was thinking. Maybe the shorter ones for like 15, the longer ones for like 20. The deal is, and people go, whoa, that's expensive. You got to remember shipping and buying the supplies and the time it takes him to make them. So I think you can't hardly get it. You can't hardly get a combo meal at a fast food joint for $15 anymore. So I agree with you. I think $15 is fair. And like I said, I would send almost all the money back to the guy making them. I might keep whatever it costs me in postage or something like that. Or if he told me to keep $1 off each one or something like that. But yeah, I don't think you can sell something like that for $5 or $6 because of just all the postage involved. You'd be giving them away for free. But there's got to be there's definitely a market for them. Everybody that's seen them in person has commented on them, and so if somebody wants one, just email me at todd@truckertodd.net, or you can contact me through the website, which is right there, truckertodd.net. It's got a little deal. You can comment and get a message to me, and I'll discuss with you how to get one. Or if you got my number, shoot me a text, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. Channel member Robbie Ross watching the Trucker Todd show on my big screen at the house in Phoenix. I will text you a pic of it. Night and day difference from looking at my phone. Yeah, I bet you can see all my either facial imperfections, or you can see my chiseled six-pack abs. I'm not sure which would show on your big screen TV. Blues Trucker US, if that new law passes, my Prime might be in for a rude awakening. 90% of the fleet is IC. They have dispatchers. Hopefully it gets put aside. Yeah, I don't think it's got a snowball's chance. Like I said, when was the last time that the ATA and OIDA were on the same team? When was the last time the ATA and I agreed on anything? I think they're going to face, that law is going to face so much oppositions and so much challenges in court that it's going to be a tough sell. Now, the one thing to keep in mind, and I didn't mention this earlier, if your state already has laws on the books that is stricter than this law that they're slating for March 11th, then you still have to comply with your state's laws. So if you're in a real strict state, this doesn't help you any. But if you're in a state like I am, Texas, where the laws are pretty lax, you're going to be watching this closely, especially if you're at a company where you can dispatch, where you can only pull their freight, where they tell you right up front it's their truck. So I think a lot of people's contracts are going to be getting reworked here real soon. Nomad Nexa Hall says the brick helps with driver fatigue. I'm not sure that it does. I mean, people are still falling asleep and wrecking trucks. It's not shocking you back awake or nothing like that. The thing that helps with driver fatigue is knowing when you're too tired to drive and pulling your truck over. That, again, personal responsibility. That thing beeping at you, if you're sleepy, you'll sleep right through it. Same thing with inward-facing cameras. They said, inward-facing cameras will stop texting and driving. Well, people are still texting and driving. I mean, laws don't stop bad behaviors, and it's like gun laws. Mexico, the country, has very strict gun laws. They've got super high crime. Chicago has super strict gun laws. They have very high crime. New York State has very, very strict gun laws. They have very high gun crime rates. And the reason is criminals don't say, oh, well, I was going to commit a crime, but since there's a law, I won't do it. The people that obey laws are law-abiding citizens that weren't going to break the law anyway. So I don't think that brick. Now, does the brick help? Sure. If you're kind of towards the end of the day, you're kind of staring out and there's a car maybe in front of you that you didn't realize was going super slow. Yeah, it'll beep and slow you down. That helps. So maybe it does help a little bit. But if it's 3 a.m. in the morning and you're nodding off, that brick beeping at you is not going to wake you up. It flashing a green or a blue light's not going to wake you up. You have to have something in your brain that says, My life is more important than this load. I'm going to pull over and take an hour nap or a 2 hour nap. Probably a 2 hour nap so you can keep driving. And that's what has to take place. You can put all the bells and whistles on a truck you want, but personal responsibility is what's going to fix this. Gary Cook, I'm not forced to run power only. I chose it. I can run the spot market if I want, but USA Truck has good rates, and I choose my loads. Yeah, what I was referring to, Gary, was choosing off other load boards outside of USA Truck. Can you go get a C.H. Robinson load? Can you get a Coyote load? Can you get a DAT board load, or do you have to pull specifically off the USA load board? Hillbilly Trucking, there he is. Looks like they are keeping you moving. Yeah, I'm working my tail off, but I'm self-dispatched, so it's self-imposed. I'm not playing the victim here. I'm doing it to myself, but I'm getting good rates and I'm getting good loads, to be quite honest. And so I'm just enjoying it while it's here. All right, we're caught up on the comments here at the 1 hour and 12 mark. So before we go any further, let me remind everybody, it's been a few weeks since we've been here. Give me a thumbs up if you hadn't done it yet. Share this video on your social media platforms and make sure you're subscribed. Now, I had this happen with a guy earlier today. After you subscribe, you have to make sure you hit that bell and select all so that it gives you notifications when future videos come out. If you want to know more about working with me, you got to have your own truck, but then you can email safety@srologistics.com and talk to Scott and get all the details and tell him about your particular situation. If you'd like to become a channel member, hit that button below the screen that says join, and it'll give you the details about that. If you want to buy channel memberships for other people, hit the $ next to where you comment, and it'll give you the details on that. Speaking of the website, let me remove this comment so you can see it. This hopefully gives you guys time to type comments. www.truckertodd.net. Go there. You can contact me from there. You can get a headset like I got. You might tell it sounds really good. It's a solar-powered headset, so you don't have to charge it. You can find out how to get the ES Advantage card that I recommend. I've got a discount on Mudflap there. You get like a $10 rebate the first time you fuel within the first 5 days. And there's a lot of other great information that I don't even remember there. So go check it out. You'll be glad you did. And there's more stuff coming on the website soon. I promise you that. Also, the big announcement tonight was that this Tuesday, you're going to want to be on the show. We're going to do something we've never done before. It's going to be really risky for me and hopefully a lot of fun for y'all. So make sure that you tune in for that. You're going to want to be parked for that one. Channel member Robbie Ross, many field generals are changing in football. Tip of the cap to Nick Saban, Pete Carroll, and Bill Belichick. Yep. Is Nick Saban coming into the NFL? Hillbilly Trucking, good deal. Keep safe and keep all 18 rolling. Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Skyline said he just hit the thumbs up. Well, I appreciate that, sir. And so I think we've got everything covered that we wanted to cover tonight. If y'all got something, throw it up there and we'll get to it. If you don't, I'm going to slide out of here and go deliver my load. I'm going to give y'all just a couple more minutes to throw something in the comments. Skyline says, I'll buy my membership when I get my own truck soon, Todd. Well, you may get a free one because YouTube watches how much you comment, and they give the memberships that people donate, like what Midlife did a minute ago. So you may get one of the free ones because you usually comment quite a bit in here. YouTube does it that way to incentivize you guys to comment, and I'm glad they do. I appreciate Midlife. I think he's given out like 7 memberships altogether now. So I really appreciate him. A lot of people in the comments think that me and Midlife are argumentative or that we get into it. Midlife has been very supportive of the channel. You might remember he sent me the GoPros, and I had some motorcycle footage for you, and I did it wrong, so I got to go back and reshoot it when it's not 20 degrees in Lubbock. I think it's supposed to be 11 this weekend. And so, yeah, he's been really supportive. He's done the 7 channel memberships. He's done several super chats. And so Midlife's been really great to me and really great to the channel. That doesn't mean we're not going to disagree sometimes. We're not going to agree on everything, but I still consider him a friend. I'd still like to catch him out here in the wild and buy him a hamburger and pick his brain for a few minutes. But yeah, we're not. We have some lively debates sometimes, but there's no bad blood between us that I'm aware of, or at least on my end. Channel member Robbie Ross with the super chat. Let's go, Cowboys. Thank you for that very much, sir. I appreciate that. Wow. I'm going to leave that up for a few seconds, and then we'll go into some more comments. I was not expecting that. If the Cowboys win the Super Bowl, Robbie's going to make it where I can retire. All righty. Man, thank you for that. I was totally caught off guard by that. P.U. Patel, Trucker Todd, have you found a good CPA to file your taxes? No, and this is where I'm fixing to get criticized. I have not, just because of all that's gone on this year. So what I'm probably going to do is go to the terrible company that I used to have in the past and let them do 2023's taxes. It's a four-letter acronym. I'm not going to say who they are on here, but I'll probably go to them and let them do my 2023 taxes. And then I'll look for somebody in 2024. I'm not going to use them long term, but they're already familiar with me and all my revenue streams and all of that. And I just think that's going to be the fastest, easiest way to do it. But I'm disappointed in myself, and I know a lot of people are disappointed as well. Wow, we've had a lot happen here. Let's get to this. Channel member Robbie Ross gifted 5 Trucker Todd memberships. Wow, man, thank you so much for that. And RGB also gifted 1 Trucker Todd membership. Thank you for that. And Roger Berry also gifted 5 Trucker Todd memberships. So we've got a lot of Trucker Todd memberships here. If you've been wanting one and couldn't afford one, it's tied after Christmas or whatever, just keep commenting and you may get one of them. YouTube may select you. I wish I could select people. There's certainly a lot of you that I would like to give one to, but man, we've got like 11 or 12 of them right now. Almost everybody in here is probably going to end up with a channel membership. I want to say thank you to you guys for doing that, for supporting the channel and for giving people a chance and to experience the membership. And I'm going to be putting out a lot more exclusive videos this year. Like I said, I really want to do the truck, and we got a few subjects we want to cover. And so that stuff is coming, I guarantee you. And I appreciate you guys doing that. T. Stifler says, everybody be safe. Yes, please. It's inclement weather out there. Skyline says it's 3 degrees here in Valentine, Nebraska. All righty, hang on just a second. All right, let's see what we got here. Trucker named Tim. Todd, it listed on my chat right after Midlife gifted the memberships. All 5 were in my chat. I don't understand, Tim. Robbie and RGBs were just listed as well. Sold my tickets this weekend going to the divisional round, says channel member Robbie Ross. Man, you always get to go to the cool games. Sorry, I meant Robbie Ross. Mud Truckin' says far out. Channel member Roger Berry, I truly appreciate all you do. Everyone be safe and get wherever you're going safely. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you guys because everybody knows I'm busy, but I know you guys are busy too. Most of you are driving 70 hours a week, and it's a pretty big commitment for y'all to come in here, 2 hours a couple of times a week and sit with me and to care what I think or say. And I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm really, really hoping that I get to go to the Mid-America Truck Show this year. And I'm really, really hoping that a lot of y'all will get to show up and I'll get to meet you. And so we'll see. Maybe we can do a live there and talk to some of y'all there or something like that. That'd be cool. But I think everybody's going to really like the Tuesday show. I hope we'll have a big turnout for that. I hope it doesn't flop. I always worry about that when I do these shows. It's like, what if I have this great idea and nobody cares? So hopefully it'll be a big success. Your crazy uncle, yo, all be safe. Thank you, sir. Yeah, everybody, please be careful out there. It's going to be bad the next few days. Blues Trucker US, instead of this dumb law, they should be focused on truck parking and getting rid of the lane departure that jams your brakes for no reason. That's a lot more dangerous than trying to own a truck. That's true. And here's the deal. As far as people being misclassified, they're doing what they wanted to do. Nobody held a gun to their head and said, you must be an independent contractor. There's, as most of us truck drivers know, we got jobs running out of our ears. Most of us, if we got fired right now, could have another job tomorrow morning or within a week at least. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I couldn't get another job as good as what I got right now. But if Scott said, if he called me in the morning and said, Todd, I hate your videos. I'm sick of you running your mouth. I don't want you working for my company no more. Bring my trailer to this location and let's part ways. Could I find another job? Yeah, probably. Take me probably 3 or 4 days. Could I find one as good as what I got now with as much freedom as I got now? Absolutely not. I've got it made. Obviously, most of you've got it made or you wouldn't work where you work. And so finding a trucking job is not hard. When I was in truck driving school, I remember them saying, as long as you've got this CDL, you've got a job. And for the most part, I've found that to be true. And so I agree with you. We've got a lot bigger issues in the trucking industry than the stuff that they're worried about. But it's like they feel like they got a quota. They got to make so many laws a year, or we're going to say, hey, we don't need this department anymore. And we don't need no more laws. We need to enforce the ones we got, and we need to encourage personal responsibility. Okay. Channel member, a trucker named Tim, said you asked who the memberships were gifted to, and I'm answering you. Well, I thought, let me go back up here. I thought some of these guys already had channel memberships, but I'll go look at the list here in a minute. Channel member Robbie Ross, also, if the Niners go down, will be in Dallas for the NFC Championship. Also, gotta hope company will keep me in the South. Yeah, if not, speaking of gifting, you can gift me your tickets and I'll go to that game and I'll think of you the whole time I'm there. Channel member Robbie Ross. All right, here we go. Channel member Midlife talking about the gift membership. Okay. He says it tells who gets the gift memberships in the YouTube chat. I know it doesn't on StreamYard. Yeah, I'm not seeing it on StreamYard. And normally I'm running my tablet and reading the comments on there. I'm not able to do that tonight. And so that's probably why I couldn't see it. But thankfully, Tim had my back and he was reading out who got them. Skyline, you have a good night, Todd, and all you guys will be safe. And good night, my friends. Good night, Skyline. Have a great night, my friend. And a trucker named Tim, channel member FYI, it's not a job, it's a contract. Yes, that is correct, Tim. I misspoke. Forgive me, everyone. Technically, it's a contract. He wouldn't terminate my job. He would terminate my contract. But I think I've made a good hand. I don't think he's planning on terminating my contract. Blues Trucker US, have a good night all. Be safe out there. Catch you Tuesday, hopefully. Yes, sir. Have a great night. It looks like everybody's checking out, but we still got 38 in here. And it's 7 o'clock, so I'm good for now. I can still make an on-time delivery. What else would you guys like to talk about tonight? Channel member Robbie Ross. Todd, I like you. My NFC champion tickets will sell for over 1,000. Just saying. Yeah, but when else will you have the opportunity for me to think about you for 3 or 4 hours as I watch Dak Prescott throw touchdown after touchdown and frustrate defenses and all that good stuff. But yeah, it was a joke, but not really, if you know what I mean. Roger Berry, channel member, tapping out up early to Lexington. Be careful and have a great weekend, all. All right, Roger Berry, thanks for all you've done tonight and for coming in here with us. I appreciate you. Have a great night. Nomad Nexa Halls, Todd, are you ready to admit some fault and say sorry? About what? You'll have to clue me in. Usually if I realize I've made a mistake, I correct it right then. So if I haven't already done it, I'm not sure what mistake I made. You'll have to clue me in. Oops, I wasn't supposed to read that one. All right, I've got my phone up now, so sorry about that, moderators. If there's anything else that gets taken out, I won't see it. Okay, man, I don't want to leave when there's 43 of y'all in here. If y'all got something else, let's talk about it. If not, I'll check out here and I'm going to start calling Lubbock the Windy City. Man, we've had some 50-mile-an-hour gusts here lately. Man, that makes me look like a ghost when I got this phone up to my face. Channel member Robbie Ross, update on my headlights. Aftermarket was $349. Well, that's a lot better than what you thought. Originally, didn't you think it was going to be about $1,100? In a related subject, these Cefcos in Texas, I went in there and the picture looks like a little burrito. And I ordered a brisket burrito and I almost ordered 2 of them because I thought, man, they're little. They're like McDonald's breakfast burritos. And I got it and this thing's enormous. So I'm glad I only got one of them, and it's actually pretty good. I couldn't eat it all, but man, it's good. Lance says, how are you liking the new truck? I like it for the most part. I really need to do a video with a walk around. That's what I was saying earlier in the show. I need to clean it up real good and kind of do a walk around and show everybody the truck. But for the most part, I like it a lot. It's been a really good truck. Mechanically, the guy that had it before me, just excellent care of it. Obviously, with any truck, there's going to be things you like about it more than your previous truck and things you like about it less. But overall, yeah, it's really comfortable, really nice. Channel member Robbie Ross, I paid that. I changed out the driver's side. Oh, okay. Roger Berry, channel member, one question. I know this will make some people mad, but what's with the 6-foot gear shifts in these trucks? I don't get it, man. And also the motorcycles, that the handlebars are way up in the air like this. You know, the motorcycle already vibrates. That can't be comfortable if you're riding it for more than about 10 minutes. I guess people like the shifter way up here. Maybe it makes them feel macho to still have a manual transmission. But, you know, I've heard truck drivers say, well, if it's not a manual, you're not a truck driver. And they don't say that when you're in your car. You know, when you get in your car to go home, they don't say, well, you're not a licensed driver if your car doesn't have a manual, a 5-speed or whatever. But for some reason in truck driving, we feel like we got to put other people down. If you're leasing your truck, you're not as good as if you've got it bank financed. Or if you're a company driver, you're not as good as if you're an owner operator. Or if you work for this company, you're not as good as if you work for that company. And we just got to stop all of that stuff. We gotta start working together, and we're all moving stuff from point A to point B. We're all doing the same job out here. And instead of belittling each other and putting each other down, we need to find ways to help each other and teach each other and make each other better. But we can't get 3 truck drivers to agree on anything for more than 5 minutes. Let's see. Channel member Roger Berry, do you still have your motorcycle? Yeah, but I'm not riding it much. We go out there and go out to the shop and start it about once a week. But I'm not riding it when it's 10 degrees outside or 30 degrees outside. Really, it needs to be in the low 60s before I start liking to ride it. Ted says, hello, sir. Sorry I'm late. Hope all is well. Yeah, you barely caught me. A couple of times I was circling the drain and thinking about checking out, but decided to hang on a little longer. I'm going to go look over here and see if I can see all the new channel memberships. Let's see if it's updated. It has not updated on my screen yet, so sometime later tonight it'll show me all the new channel members, and we'll shout them out in the next Tuesday video. Looking forward to that. Ted, I can't ever remember your friend's name, and I don't want to get too personal in here. I think his name's Darius. Have you got any good news? Just say yes or no. Don't give a lot of detail. Have you got any good news regarding him, or are things about the same, or are they a little worse? I've been thinking about him a lot lately. Channel member Robbie Ross, also those super truckers who have a need to do 70 on the highway, y'all need to back it down and be safe. Trucker named Tim, channel member, just like chrome and anything else that a driver adds to his truck, it's showing off. They could have invested in much better things, but it makes them think they're a bigger man. Well, this truck has a lot of chrome on it and a big, huge Texas bumper on the front with chicken lights. I didn't put that on there. I'll admit it looks nice and I like it, but I probably would have not purchased those things myself. But the guy that did it, I'm glad he does. It looks nice going down the road. It really needs a row of chicken lights down the side of it, though, to complete it. But that's not something I would do until it was completely paid off and I had a very, very nice maintenance account built up. I took Tim's comment down so y'all could see the website. If you hadn't been there, go check it out. You really need to get that ES Advantage fuel card. I haven't been able to use it a lot because I've been broke the last few months, but my financial situation's starting to get better. And I brought all this up because people say this, the card I've got's a prepaid one, and they say, well, Todd, the problem is I don't have $1,500 to just send off this week. Because initially what I told people to do is put $1,500 on it, and then each time you fuel, reload it whatever you fueled. And really, I think you could do it with about 1,000 now. And a lot of people say, Todd, I just don't have that much money, especially after Christmas. So here's what I say do. Put $500 on it. That'll get you a tank of fuel, especially as cheap as you get it. And then round up. Like if you put $380 in your tank, upload $400 onto your card. And over time, you'll stack it up. Now, they've got other benefits on there like tire discounts and stuff like that. So build it up over time to 5,000 or 6,000. Then when you need tires, you can also get that off your fuel card. And that's how I've decided I'm going to build mine back up and get back to using it. They tell you it takes a few days when you do the ACH, which is the cheapest way to load it. They do have a faster option, but I usually do the ACH. And I'm doing short enough trips and getting good enough fuel economy now that I think I'd be okay with $500 or $600 on the card. And so I'm going to try to do that next week and get back to using it. Then, like I said, just round up. If I get 320, I'll put 400, 380, put 400. And over time, I'll get it built back up to what it was. And I'll still be saving money on fuel at the same time. And I just said all that because that's a strategy that you might want to implement if you decide to get the card, to get yours built up. And the way it works, there's like 5 questions. You just answer those questions off the link in my website. It's cool. It takes you to a Trucker Todd landing page. It says Trucker Todd on it. It's really cool. And after you fill those 5 questions out, a day or two later, they'll give you a call and they'll talk about your specific situation and formulate a game plan with you. It takes about $100 to get the card. So you don't have to be rolling in money to get the card, but you're going to save $1,300 to $1,500 a month in fuel. Or at least that was my experience, and I think you'll have similar results. Let's see. Channel member Roger Berry. Okay, once and for all, good night, all. Good night, Roger. Thanks for hanging around as long as you did. I hope you can catch the rest on the replay. We're probably not going to go a whole lot longer. I was right. His name is Julius, says Ted. He has good days and bad days. They put him on hospice. Please, everyone. We just need lots of prayers. Thank you all. Yeah, everybody say a prayer for Julius. He's a really close friend of Ted, and he's had some really, really bad health problems, and he's really suffering right now. Skyhook Trucker, channel member, sorry I missed your call. A trucker named Tim. You too can have a phone call during the show. Shame on y'all. Y'all can talk about me after the show. A trucker named Tim, channel member, also hope he doesn't mind me saying, but if you're a believer, please pray for Skyhook Truckers, family member. The rest is personal, so just pray for the family. Yeah, great. Thanks for putting that up, Tim. Yeah, say a prayer for Skyhook too. He's going through some stuff right now. And I'm not going to share his details out there. If he wants to, he can. If he doesn't want to, we'll respect his privacy. But really everybody, some people hide it better than other people, but everybody's going through stuff. And that's one more reason why we don't need to be tearing each other down out here. We need to be building each other up, because we're all going through stuff, and we all have good days and bad days. And we don't need one more person piling on. Skyhook channel member says he'll call Tim back tomorrow. And trucker named Tim channel member says, you're good, Skyhook. We all get busy. Skyhook channel member says, thank you, Tim. Greatly appreciated. Channel member Robbie Ross, how are your family members doing? Hope all is good. My aunt went back in the hospital and just got back home. It wasn't related to her foot. Her blood sugar dropped really low, and my uncle couldn't wake her up, so they had to call an ambulance. He knows all the tricks about giving her something sweet and stuff like that. Nothing worked, so they had to call an ambulance. She spent a couple days in the hospital, and she's back home. Foot seems to be doing good. She's fairly mobile in a wheelchair and improving slowly, so that's about all we could hope for, ask for. We're definitely glad about that. My grandson is going to Dallas again this next week, I believe on Wednesday, and he'll probably be there about a week again, undergoing a lot of testing and things like that. That update is a couple of days old. I need to call my son and get an update, but maybe by Tuesday I'll have a better update for everybody. Ted says, lots of prayers for everyone. Yep, it couldn't hurt. Your crazy uncle praying for you all. I appreciate that, sir. No. Channel member, a trucker named Tim. I called him earlier, not during the show. I thought you too was critiquing the show. So I don't know how many of y'all have ever saw the Muppets, but do you ever remember those two old men that sat up in the balcony and they would criticize the Muppets during the show? That's a trucker named Tim and Skyhook. They kind of sit in the balcony and they watch the show, and if I say something wrong or I do something wrong, they comment from the bleacher or from the balcony. No, I'm joking. They're two really good friends that I give a hard time pretty regularly too. Now all of a sudden I'm in the mood to watch the Muppets. Okay, the comments have come to a stop and most everybody's gone to bed. So even though we've still got 33 here, my voice may have put most of them to sleep. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I apologize if some of you comment after I've checked out and it won't let me respond. I'm going to go in here and fix the title of the video. So if you're looking for it later, it's going to say in case you missed it in whatever episode it should be. You guys have a great night. Thank you for watching. We'll see you Tuesday. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.